Hello friends, I am Ayantika. In this video Oedogonium part 2, I will be discussing about the reproductive strategies of Oedogonium. Now in the part 1 of the video, in the first part of video Oedogonium, I have discussed the overview of Oedogonium, its thallus organization, how the cell division in Oedogonium occurs. That is also a very important part, that is the cell division, and because the cell division in Oedogonium is quite unique, and also about the economic, ecological as well as research importance of Oedogonium in the first part. And in this part I will be discussing about the reproduction of Oedogonium. In case you haven't watched the part 1 of the video, I would request you to watch that video first, because there you will get the basic understanding of the algae Oedogonium. Then come to reproductive part. So let's start the video. The reproduction in Oedogonium is of three types. Number one is vegetative, which reproduces by which it reproduces by fragmentation. So fragmentation can occur by accidental breaking of filament, or by fragmentation can also be caused by the death of the intermediate cells, or formation of spores inside the intermediate cells. The spore formation can be either zoospore or a planospore, or formation of gametes at the end of the growing season in the intermediate cells. So this is all about fragmentation, how fragmentation occur. And then is the asexual reproduction. By asexual reproduction, the Oedogonium, it reproduces either by this akinete formation, or a planospore formation, or the zoospore formation. So these aplanospore are non-motile and non-flagellated. They have a thick wall around them, and they are uninucleate. This aplanospore that is in the diagram, here in the diagram, it is produced in unfavorable condition, and on return of favorable condition only it germinates. Next is the akinete. Okay, the previous was the picture of aplanospore, and this is how actually the aplanospore is formed, and it germinates. Here it is how it germinates. Now we come to akinete. Akinete is actually while the aplanospore it is formed when the aplanospore is formed when the any cell it divides to form 4 aplanospore. Each cell produces 4 aplanospore. But on the other hand, when akinetes are formed, a single akinete is produced from a single cell. That is 1 akinete per cell, and 4 aplanospore are produced per cell. So these akinete, these are formed by the thickening of the spore. And how does it germinate? This akinete is also, it is a resting spore, and entire cell wall of the of any cell, it thickens, and it stays dormant, and only on return of favorable condition do akinetes germinate. So this is common. The function of akinete and aplanospore is that they are just resting spore, and they germinate only on return of favorable conditions. But the akinete and aplanospore, though they have a similar function, but they are structurally different. Now we come to the zoospore. the zoospore is another method of asexual reproduction. And in the zoospore, actually here it is the example, it is shown that any filament, when in any filament, the cap cell, I should be saying that the cap cell forms all the type of spores, both a planospore and here the zoospore. It happens that in any cell, the especially say for example the cap cell, prior to formation of zoospore, what happens is that the protoplast, it retracts from the cell wall. Once it retracts from the cell wall, a nucleus, it moves to the central position. And once this is completed, cell becomes oval shaped in structure, and at the anterior end, a hyaline region develops, and near the hyaline region, some blepharoplast granules are formed. And once the blepharoplast granules are formed, they are then interconnected by fibroa strand. So this is the fibroa strand. Sorry, I should be drawing the nucleus a bit downwards. So this is the nucleus at the center, and these are the blepharoplast granules which are interconnected by fibrous region, and from each of the blepharoplast granules, a flagella develop. This is the flagella developing, and once the flagella are developed, this outer wall, this the outer lateral wall, it undergoes a transverse split, and the outer wall, after it undergoes a split, it gapes apart. Here it is shown that it gapes apart the filament and the inner wall, which is in the form of vesicle. It accompanies the zoospore. So zoospore, here we see it is released inside the vesicle. So inside the vesicle, the zoospore along with the vesicle, it swims inside the vesicle for some 10 minutes. Then it is released from the vesicle. And this zoospore is here we see that the zoospore, it is released from the vesicle. Once it is released from the vesicle, it can say swim for 1 hour, or it can swim for a few minutes and then come in contact with the substratum, heads anterior end down, and this is the substratum and the anterior, and it settles with the anterior end down. And once the anterior end is down, the flagella are retracted, and it secretes certain mucilaginous substance to help attach the cell, and after this the whole cell elongates, and the lower region, it forms finger-like projection to increase the attaching power, and then by repeated division, entire filament is formed. This is how the entire asexual reproduction by zoospore occur. And so reproduction in Oedogonium is oogamy, and oogamy is also advanced. What do I mean by that? In Oudogonium, their reproduction is ogamous, which means that the gametes are morphologically as well as physiologically different. I mean, they are different in shape and size, as well as chemically also they are different. This functional is also different. And by advanced oogamy, I mean that not only the gametes but also the organ that are forming the gametes, that is the antheridium and oogonium, they are also morphologically and physiologically different. Now, Oudogonium is an algae which is haploid for most of the period, so the life cycle is haplontic. Life cycle of Oudogonium is haplontic. So in Oudogonium, the sex organs are antheridium and oogonium. Now antheridial, any of the cap cell, that is the cell with the cap, any of the cap cell can produce both the male can produce the male and the female, or the female gamete, and this ability to produce the gametes, they are limited to the cap cell only, and the male gamete is formed in the antheridium cell. Any antheridial mother cell, which is of course a cap cell, it divide to produce an upper antheridial cell and the lower Nash cell. From this antheridial cell only, two pure shaped sperm or antherozoid are produced. And this antheridial mother cell can be produced in a chain of 2 to 40 antheridial mother cell in a row. And this antheridial mother cell, they divide into either divide into upper antheridial cell and lower Nash cell. So the upper antheridial cell each produces two pear shaped antherozoids, and these antherozoids, they are liberated by the rupture of the outer wall, and they are liberated inside the inner cellulosic wall that forms a vesicle. That gelatinizes and forms a vesicle. So this antherozoid remain inside the vesicle for some time, they are released early morning, and they remain in the vesicle for some time, and then they are liberated. And based on the and the male reproductive type is of two types. One is the Macrandras and another is the Nanandras. The Macrandras, in Macrandra species, the antheridial mother cell, they are produced in normal sized filament. In the Nanandra species, a special dwarf filament is present which bears the antheridial mother cells or the antheridial cells. So this is how the based on the male reproduction, and the oogonium is divided into Macrandras and Nanandra species. Now, this is how the antheridia is formed. This is the this is the antheridial cell, and this is the Nash cell. And we see that in the antheridial cell, two antherozoids, they are formed. Once formed, they are released in the, this is how they are released inside the vesicle. We see 1 and 2 antheridial cell, and we see that this is how the antherozoid look. Here I should be saying, in Oudogonium, they have a apical crown of flagella both in zoospore as well as the male gamete. But the zoospore and male gamete, though they look similar, but they are of different size. The gamete, say for this is the gamete, the male gamete, they are of much less size than that of the zoospore. This type of the distribution of flagella in the form of a ring in the apical region is called the stephanocanth. Stephanocanth. So we see that in Oudogonium, stephanocanth is found both in the zoospore as well as the gametes, the male gametes. So here we see in the diagram is how the antheridia is produced in normal, that is the Macrandra species. This can also be how gamete is formed in the Nanandra species also. This is just how the antherozoids are produced. So Macrandra species, based on where the male and the female sex organ are born, is of two types, that is the homothallic, where male and female reproductive organ, they are born on the same filament, that is Oudogonium nodulosum, and where in heterothallic, the male and the female gamete, they are born in separate thallus, that is dioecious. Oudogonium aquaticum is a dioecious species. So this is how the Macrandra species is divided into two categories, homothallic and heterothallic. In the Nanandra species, the antherozoid, it is produced in the dwarf filament. The Nanandra species, first the dwarf filament, it develops near the oogonia or attached to the oogonia. This dwarf filament is called nanandria, and this dwarf filament, they are produced by the germination of androspore. Now androspore, it looks similar to the zoospore with the apical subpolar, not apical but subpolar crown of flagella, which is called the stephanocanth, and though it looks similar to that of the zoospore, but the androspore, they have much smaller size than the zoospore. And androspore, though it is much smaller to the in size than the zoospore, it is much larger than that of the gamete, the male gamete, or the antherozoids. And this androspore, they are produced from any filament, they are produced from any cap cell in the filament. So this is the filament and this is the cap cell, and any androspore, a single androspore is produced from a single cell. And once androspore is formed, it is liberated to the environment by the bursting of the outer wall, and the inner wall, it gelatinizes to form a vesicle. So this outer wall, what happens is that the outer wall, it burst, and the outer wall, it burst, and the filament is gape apart, and the androspore along with the vesicle, it is liberated. This is the vesicle. Single cell produces single androspore. Once it liberated, it attaches to the female. It gets attached to any, it swims for a certain time, and then the vesicle is once it is removed, then the androspore, it attaches to the either near the oogonium or on the oogonium, and after that, on attaching to the oogonium or the nurse cell of the oogonium, this androspore, they produce a filament small filament, and they have a basal stalk cell and a chain of antheridia. And this chain of antheridia can be from 4 from 2 to from 2 to 4 from 2 to 4 antheridia in the Nanandra species. This is how it works. This we see that the androspore, the cap cell, it produces androspore. This, and here we see that the chain of cells, the androspore are produced in chains. I mean, the chain of cells produce androspore, each one androspore from each cell, and these androspore, they attaches either to the ogonial cell or to the nurse cell or the suffultary cells. So once attached, they develop into a nanandria. Here we see there is basal cell, that is the basal cell, and this is the antheridia, and they can be formed in a chain. Here we see this is the basal cell, and antheridia is formed in chain. Here we see one antheridial cell, another antheridial cell, and each antheridial cell produces two gametes, two male gametes. In the Narendra species of Oudogonium is also further divided into two types, Gynandrosporous and Isoandrosporous. In Gynandrosporous is what? It is a monoecious species, which means that the androsporangium and the Oudogonium occurs in the same filament. This is androsporangium. Androsporangium, not antheridium. Androsporangium, it produces the androspore which swim and attaches to the Oudogonium or near the Oudogonium to form the dwarf filament. That androspore is produced inside this androsporangium. So in the Gynandrosporous, that is a Gynandrosporous species, androsporangium and oudogonium, they are produced in the same filament. So this is Oudogonium. This is present in Oudogonium concatenata. And in the Isoandrosporous, it is a dioecious species where the androsporangium and the oudogonium, they are born on different filament. For example, Oudogonium iron-gari. So, if you recollect that the Macrandrus is dioecious monoecious, and the Nanandrus is also dioecious monoecious. So, we see there are two, this is very similar to that of the angiospermic plants. So, and this is about the male reproductive. Now there is the female reproductive. In the cat cell, it stores the food matter, and it swells, and the nucleus, it moves from the central from the peripheral position to, here we see, to the central position, and it swells, and gradually in the anterior region, in the subpolar anterior region, the outer wall, it bursts to form a opening. This is the opening, and this is practically the receptive spot through which later this the spores, the male reproductive spores, it one male reproductive spore, it enter to fertilize. This is how the oudogonium develops, and the fertilization here it occurs. So uh, the antheridial and the ogonial filament, they are both morphologically similar, but the cells that develop into Oogonia and Antheridia, they have different physiology. So the Oogonial cells that I have discussed in the previous slide, they are produced. The Oogonial mother cell, they are produced in the chain of 2 to 4 cells in a chain, and this Oogonium, it has actually obtained its name from the Oogonial cell only. Actually, this name Oogonium was given by Hirn, which means that oidos, which means a swelling, and gonos, which means that is it a seed. So it is a swollen seed. So the name was given as such, and so after fertilization of the oogonia at the receptive spot, the diploid zygote is formed. I forgot to say one thing, that as the sperm moved towards the receptive spot, actually the a certain mucilaginous substance are secreted which help attract the sperm towards the receptive spot. So after the fertilization, the diploid zygote is formed. The zygote undergoes a period of rest, and then on return of favorable condition, it undergoes meiosis, and 4 meiozoospore are produced and liberated inside the vesicle. And once liberated inside the vesicle, it remain there for some time. Then they swim and form a new entire filament. This is the diagrammatic representation, that taking the cue from the mucilaginous secretion, the sperms, they swim towards the receptive spot, and this is the fertilized zygote which is resting, and then this is the oospore, and which undergoes meiosis or the reduction division, and the meiozoospores, they are produced, and the meiozoospore, they are inside the vesicle. This is the inside the vesicle, and they here we see that the meiospores, that they are liberated from the vesicle as a single meiospore. This single meiospore, they form a new colony here. They form a no, not new colony, but new filament. That was the diagrammatic representation. This is what I have been discussing in the previous slide. So I'm not going to read it out. You can just pause the slide and see it. So the life cycle of Oodogonium. This is the life cycle of Oodogonium. The Oodogonium, it produces the male and the female organ for gamete production, that is the Oogonium and Antheridium, which Oogonium produces egg or ovum, and Antherozoids, it produces, the Antheridium produces antherozoids. So these egg and Antherozoids, these are the gametes, they fuse or fertilize to produce, thus to start the 2N generation, the diploid generation. So after a period of rest, the zygote or zygospore, they form, they undergo meiosis to produce the meiospores. And here it is written of 2, but each forms 4. So the meiospore is again N. That is, it is again haploid. So here we see that only this what to say, only this zygotic stage, it is diploid, otherwise it is haploid. So this type of life cycle is called haplontic. H-A-P-L-O-N-T-I-C. P L O N T I C. So this type of life cycle is haplontic, where majority of the life period is haploid. I haven't mentioned the asexual reproduction here because in asexual reproduction these always end throughout. I mean it is always haploid throughout. So this is all about Oodogonia. Uh, Thanks for watching the video, and if you like it, share it with your friends, and do subscribe to get the latest video update of the latest videos that I'll be making. Thank you.